This is Breakfast Live on GTV. Follow our social media handles at GTV Ghana. We are talking Agric now. According to Ghana Census of Agriculture Reports 2017-2018, there are about 3.8 million persons engaged in farming. Out of this number, 67% are smallholder farmers, with greater percentage cultivating just 1 acre per season. The greatest challenges facing these smallholder farmers is the lack of resources to improve their production, and this has led to most of them living below the poverty line and has made agriculture unattractive to the youth especially. Now, Farmasyst Limited is a youth-led agri-tech startup that is providing monitoring services for agricultural products, as well as connecting smallholder farmers to investors for input financing, having identified this challenge. This morning, their reps are here to tell us more. At the table, I'm joined by Mr. Wisdom Zoto, co-founder and CEO of Farmasyst Limited. Wisdom, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
He's here with Mohammed Hafiz Musa, who is the co-founder and COO, also Farmasyst Limited. How did you come up with the name Farmasyst? It sounds like you dispense medicines, but you are into farming.
Yes, thank you. So the name Farmasyst came up when we're looking at how do we get a name that fits what we do at Farmasyst. So we decided that, wow, we are really trying to support them. So let's assist farmers. So how come we came about Farmasyst?
So what do you do at Farmasyst? Tell us what the company is about.
Yes, so Farmasyst basically is in connecting smallholder farmers to companies that provide support services to farmers. So there are people who deal in tractors, there are people who operate in inputs for farmers. So Farmasyst connect them to smallholder farmers, and as well there are companies that also run outgrower schemes. So we take over these projects and we do monitoring for them. Yes, so basically that's what we do.
What does someone need in order to be a beneficiary of the services that you provide, Mohammed?
Yes, so in terms of being a beneficiary, we have a whole due diligence criteria that we follow. So we are looking at communities where we have farmers, and which is almost everywhere in Ghana. We are looking at their history as far as other input credit schemes are concerned. So as a team, we have an internal checklist that we follow to make sure that we are giving the resources to the right people. And mind you, we are securing investments of people's resources. So we have a due diligence that we follow.
So what's the criteria then? You said you have a list of items
so
that you need.
I've just mentioned too. We are looking at communities that farm some produce, main produce of interest. We're talking about maize and soybean mainly, but we're also looking at other options in terms of vegetables and other crops. But then that's one. Number two, we are looking at their history in terms of input credits. Number three, we are looking at farmer groups. We don't work with individual farmers because the group serves as guarantee for each other. They are securing each other to make sure that they get access to these resources to promote productivity.
Which research informed your choice of this particular line of business, and which communities were the targets of that search?
We started basically on the Cosmos Innovation Center Agri-Tech Challenge. We went through market researches across the country, and even as a team, we conducted our own market research. One of the key things that we found out was the fact that there are companies that have lost investments in the past, and there are also farmers, on the other hand, looking for resources. Mind you, we are talking about some farmers' issues that led to the loss of investment, but then that do not, lead to the fact that we need to stop investing in agriculture. We must eat, and we need to eat. So, as a team, we ask ourselves, how then do we become a linkage between these two parties who, at some point, are not seeing eye to eye? What kind of guarantee or systems do we invest in to make sure that it is safer for individuals to give resources to these farmers, and what kind of systems we also put in to make sure that these farmers are doing the right things in terms of agricultural good agronomic practices, as well as in terms of field supervision by our team of field supervisors, also to make sure that everybody wins and it's a win for us all.
How did you manage to get the companies involved? I get that you're able to put, if the farmers are able to put themselves together in groups, then they can benefit from some of the services. But how do you convince the companies that these businesses, these farmers are worth the investment?
All right, thank you. So, Farmasyst, we speak with people who have the capacity to support, as I earlier indicated. So, we let them trust in us. And one thing that we do to build a trust is that we have a monitoring system which makes the investor to basically follow what is happening on day-to-day basis on the field. And then also the report that is churned out can be verified. What we do is that during the registration process, the app that we have developed takes the GPS coordinate of all the farms that are enrolled on that particular project. So during monitoring, when the supervisor gets to the field and sends reports, it comes with the GPS coordinate of where the report was sent from. So based on that, you'll be able to verify that yes, indeed, this report is actually coming from the field. When we were doing the market research, one key thing that came out was that some companies who operate in agro schemes, the supervisor that they have on grounds are not really helping them. So the supervisor is sent to, say, Tamale to go monitor farmers that they are working with. The supervisor sleeps in his hotel rooms, send report that, oh, this farm is doing well, this is what they are doing. But in reality, that is not what is it. So this system comes in place to ensure that the investor can really get what is happening on the ground. So based on that, they have the trust that, well, whatever I push in can go through. And then also to try to build the trust one step at a time. So when we started in 2020, we had a company called Farmasyst Limited where we work with, and we had 100% recovery. So based on that, we're able to get other investors on board. And as we speak, I think we are in our third year, and we have gotten some substantial number of investors to come on board here.
So take me through what it actually means when you execute a project to help a farmer. When the group comes to you as Farmasyst, what happens when they get there, and what do they get in return?
Yes, so right from the start, we are looking at the needs of the farmers. Once that is established, if it's access to tractor services, if it's certified seeds, then based on that, we know what kind of individuals or companies or even investors to look out for. And once that is established, then we also ensure that the next steps is to make if it's tractors, the tractor is made accessible and it starts work on the field. Next, we are looking at certified seeds. I think it's also one of the factors of low productivity in agriculture. So we ensure that the right seeds gets to the farmers. Once that is done, and as I said, we have field supervisors who are on the field guiding them onto the right things to do, so that at the end of the day we can have a good produce. And after a few weeks after germination, the supervisors also do random monitoring to ensure that germination has gone well, here it hasn't gone well, what do we need to do? He advises the farmer on what exactly to do next. Right from there, we are looking at towards harvesting, where we also facilitate by talking to other networks within the agri-business value chain to ensure that there are access to threshing services for some of these farmers, and that also leads to reduction in post-harvest losses as well. So it's a whole chain. Once that is done, at the very beginning, there are conversations in terms of repayment models. One key thing I left out is that in the process, in the communities we work with, we establish what we call model farms. These are our own farms as Farmasyst that serves as a guide for the farmers. So where we do demonstration in terms of even planting distance, how to do the right climate smart fertilizer application, their micro dosing and other practices, to ensure that they have something as a benchmark to make sure that they are doing the right things. At the end of the day, nobody wants a farmer to lose. We all want to win, and we also are there to make sure that we give them the necessary handhold and the necessary guidance to make sure that the investment is secured.
What's the cost to the farmer when they are getting these services? So a farm, a company has tractors, and the farmer has need for the tractors. Does the farmer pay for these services? Does the farmer pay to have the supervisors coming onto their farm and helping them with the information and the technologies that you provide?
Yes, so what we do is that we don't allow the farmer to pay at the start of the season, because we know smallholder farmers, access to money is a big challenge. So what we do is that we have an arrangement with them, and then they pay with crops. So basically, after they are done with all the production, then they pay part of their harvest or the yield in crops. So that's the model we operate.
They pay it back with crops.
With crops, yes.
So when the harvesting is done, you take some of what they produce, and
Yes.
then you sell them on.
So mostly, we work with the investor. So what we take from the farmer, farmers also have a share in that, and then the investor also has a share in what is taken. So if it's plowing services, you pay with crops, maybe bags of crops. If it is inputs, as in seeds or other things or fertilizers, you also pay in crops. So when we most of the times the investors try to wait for a time where the price is a bit okay, then they dispose them off.
What has been the biggest challenge with executing this project?
I think, like I said, the challenge is that it's good when you are starting, when you are small. The challenge is growing it at a scale, because we are looking at getting more hands involved. And remember, we use technology to ensure these processes are carefully followed. But then we have limitations sometimes in terms of coverage and other related things. But I mean, whilst we are progressing as a team, we are more looking at the team effort. So we've not had so much of a challenge, because, as I said, because we work with the groups really guarantee each other. And the success this year determines what happens this year. And these days, everybody is on alert. Nobody wants to lose an investment. I mean, if you give me money, I'll make sure that I'll pay back, and then you get to support me in my adventures going forward.
Tell us about the app before we wrap up.
Okay, yeah. So the app is actually a web and mobile app, where we have the mobile app. I mean, it's stored on the phone. Then we have the back end.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is it.
What is it called? Is it in Google Play Store?
No, it's not in Google Play, because we only give it to the supervisors to use.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how the app looks like. Yes.
What does it do?
So this is basically used to register the farmers that we work with. So when you get to the field, we register them, and then we also pick the GPS coordinate with the phone on the farm, so that it's easy to get to the field, because sometimes you can work with a client that deals with about 100 farmers. It will be difficult for a supervisor to offhead know where all the farms are located. Yeah, so it helps in terms of navigating to the field. Aside that too, we also use it to record the history of the farmer. So like last year, what did you plant? What were the yield? What were the challenges? And then we also record this year, so that as time goes on, we're able to build a database of farming, because that is something that we struggle to get in Ghana. If you want to know maybe the challenges, specific issues, it's difficult, but this app helps us to do that. Then also the supervisor use the same app to report on the field. So when they get to the field, if it is planting, there are a set of questions in the app that allows the supervisor to submit, to let us know what is happening. And when they submit, it comes real time. Then finally, there is a part that works in terms of diagnosing diseases on the field, because we realize that farmers, especially smallholder farmers, struggle a lot with that. I remember in 2017 when fall armyworm started, there were people, they didn't know where to go to, what to do. So some started using salts to spray their crops, hoping to get rid of this fall armyworms. But with what we have, the supervisor gets to the field, takes pictures of it, the system is able to process it, and then the agronomic staff at the back end is able to interpret and give real advice in terms of how to deal with it. Yeah, so basically that's how the app works. And we are still training the AI model, where we want to get the efficiency high, and we are gathering data to do that.
I'll give the last word to you so quickly. How can people reach you? You're trying to help smallholder farmers. You're encouraging them to form groups and then come to you with your needs, so you can connect them to the supply side, be it in terms of implements, seeds, fertilizer, and whatnot. So someone is watching, asking, how can I get in touch?
So as pharmacists, we're on all social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Farmasyst Ghana. On Instagram, we are Farmasyst. On Twitter, we are Farmasyst GH. And on LinkedIn, we are Farmasyst Limited. You can reach us across all these channels, and the team is always ready to respond promptly and build partnerships across the country and even the continent.
Thank you so much. These young men in agriculture are with Farmasyst. Wisdom Zoto is co-founder and CEO, Farmasyst Limited, and Mohammed Hafiz Musa is co-founder and COO of Farmasyst Limited. They are a company that helps smallholder farmers to get in touch with people who can provide them with whatever they need to make their farms grow. So if you are such a small holder farmer and you are interested in the services that Farmasyst is providing, reach out to them across their social media platforms and they will be of help to you. Gentlemen, thank you so much for making time to sit with us this morning. We'll be right back with more interviews after this break.